All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of the Walking Dead television series. This is for The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 7, Stradivarius. Oh, whispers are awesome! Whispers are awesome! And spoiler warning if you guys have not seen this episode for The Walking Dead Season 9 yet. Episode 7, Stradivarius. So, man, this one was a really fun episode, at least near the end, right? So this is another one of those episodes. It's kind of like, I like to look at these as sort of spacer episodes. You know, they're not, here, I'm going to take this off because it's too difficult to, to talk with this thing on. But how do the Whisperers do it, right? So, no wonder why their voices sound muffled and everything. You talk with this freaking thing all over your face. You would actually sound kind of weird, as a matter of fact. You would if you had, this crap all the way over and you're trying to enunciate and everything. So, but, man. So, I mean, this is one of those episodes where it's like the last 5 minutes is like, oh, it's awesome. The promo for next week is amazing, right? But then the episode itself is like, what does it really entail that, that much throughout? I mean, I did enjoy the episode, and probably my favorite stuff in the episode has to be for Daryl. I love to see everything they did with Daryl in this episode, especially at the end where he's got his pet dog. Right, it's awesome. It's like a character, like if you ever played like World of Warcraft or something, like an RPG. He's got like his pet. The dog goes and runs out in front to scout in front, and then comes back and tells him if there's any walkers or anything. Daryl is just thankfully they didn't kill Daryl off. Right, they've killed a lot of characters over the years off, but episodes like this really bring it back to like. How awesome it is that at the very least they still have Daryl in the series, they still have Michonne, they still have some really forefront awesome characters in the series. But I feel like Daryl was the coolest in this one, right? Especially at the end when the dog goes around there. It's just fun. I don't know why. It's it seems now that I explain it, it's like big deal. Trevor's dog goes out and runs in front of him when he drives around the motorcycle. So it's like, yeah, I know, but it's just cool. I don't know. It's just cool. I don't know why. So I enjoy that stuff. That was really good. Also, to find out too, other good stuff for Daryl is that the reason why he's basically out there is because it sounds like 6 years ago he resolved to himself that he was not going to come back until he found Rick, right? Till he found his brother. So he went out and he's looking and everything like that, and he just kind of gets lost. He never found a body, and he basically never gave up. And now, pretty much in the TV series, we're 6 years ahead, and he's still out there, right? He never stopped looking. So I thought that was super badass for Daryl as a character. And that's something that's like that would be what he would do, right? Is that he would go out there and he would look for 6 years and go all over the damn place. Probably 100 times, absolutely everywhere, until he found Rick. And even then, of course, because we know that Rick was taken off in the helicopter, but nobody else seems to have seen that. So it looks like the distance that Rick washed up on shore near the end of episode 5 there is probably far enough away such that the other, and there was the explosion, everything, everybody was disoriented, everybody didn't know what was going on, everyone was in shock. They probably, ears might have been ringing from the explosion that went off right by, and they just happened to not see this helicopter come down for Jadis and pick up Rick and Jadis. So Daryl's been out there looking all the time. He's found this dog he's using to scout around, and never found Rick, so never stopped looking and never came back. Good stuff. Because it's like that level of resolve would make you super strange, right? People would look at him and be like, why is he just living out there in the forest? And I admire that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's like to the end, to the death, right? No matter what, if it's 20 years, he's going to be out there, wandering around looking for any sign of even a walker Rick at that point. I'm sure he'd be probably happy with. So I loved everything they did with Daryl in this episode. I like how Carol's kind of set up this situation with him and Henry, where it's like she's told Ezekiel that Henry's going to come and study and be a blacksmith, but in this one too, you kind of get the feel that Carol's kind of setting it up to sort of maybe have him apprentice Daryl too, or at least get a little bit of that rub that would be good for Henry for his own survival later on. I mean, the amount of stuff he could learn from Daryl is probably far surpasses what he's going to learn as a blacksmith. Not that being a trade blacksmith isn't useful. Of course, it is for a community. It's very, very useful. But when shit hits the fan, you're going to want to have a couple Daryls around, right? So which is really cool. The promo obviously looks great. Getting to see the Whisperers kind of coming in and them kind of circling around, and possibly one of them looking up and noticing that they're being watched or something of the sort looks really sweet. So we'll save the predictions for the mid-season finale. It's a mid-season finale already. I'm just like sitting here thinking to myself, like, I can't believe this half season is basically over. This is the craziest half season ever in terms of the layout and like how things went, and then the start to the new one. But literally, it just feels like Rick just left, and we just had a couple episodes now, and now we're into the mid-season finale, and we're gonna have to wait until next year to see the back half of this season. But right now, I'm just enjoying this a lot. So I liked everything that they did with Henry as well too, and how Carol kind of set it up. I like how Daryl kind of points out, Carol's like watching with the with her bow to make sure that nothing bad happens with the whole dog getting trapped thing. And I like how Daryl's kind of like like curious about it. Like he never got trapped before. He's never got himself trapped before, right? So it's like did Carol kind of set it up right so that they could have like a like a bonding moment or something, or Henry could be like, oh, he's so cool, he kills all these walkers and stuff, and he's got his dog and stuff. So you can see how Henry would want to kind of apprentice with Daryl, maybe even more than what's the blacksmith, Earl? Yeah, from earlier on this season. So he's still there making swords and stuff, I bet, and spears, it looks like. So good stuff with all of that. We start the episode off. This was directed by Michael Cudlitz, who of course played Abraham in the Walking Dead television series, which was awesome to see. And I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a fantastic job. I really liked some of the choices with the camera work in this one. I thought it was really cool. It was different from what we're used to, and in a good way. It just made the scenes more exciting. And I hope they kind of stick with something like that, because I think it fits the Whispers really well. When you see kind of this chaotic sort of, maybe like borderline shaky cam, but it's right in your face kind of thing all over the place. So when you're watching this through as a viewer, you're feeling disoriented just like Rosita's feeling disoriented after she's heard the voices, heard the whispers all around, and she's kind of split off and has run and just doesn't know what the hell's going on, and then eventually just kind of passes out from exhaustion because she's so terrified that she's probably just bolted like who knows how far and has just basically just passed right out from the exhaustion. Then we get the flare later on, and Aaron and Jesus kind of come in and find her and then bring her back. They had kind of a practice session going on here, which we didn't see any kind of it was all professional, right, in terms of sparring. But the theory's been out there for quite a while that maybe Jesus and Aaron will eventually get into a relationship. I thought it was good that they didn't really expand on that too much right now, because this season, if it's had anything, it's new relationships, right? So I feel like right now it's probably not necessary, but maybe later on we could see something more from that. And of course, Aaron did want to learn from Jesus how he can, better defend himself, self-defense, that kind of thing. And it's good stuff. So it was a pretty fun scene. I don't think it was anything too crazy. Maybe when he first grabbed him off of the horse and everything, it was a bit exciting. But the friendly sparring session, and maybe land a few stiff ones. But it's all good stuff, right? So that was fun stuff. I like that. We have all the stuff with Michonne and Magna's group. So, basically, they're going out, they're spending some time with the group. We're getting to find out about Bernie, and then we see him as a walker later on in the episode with his funny shirt on, which I thought was kind of fun. It was a nice touch. And Michonne, again, this part looked really good as well, too, when she kind of put him down in sort of a compassionate, behind kind of way, where it wasn't like right in the face of the group that he was a part of, right? So they didn't really see it. She kind of did it in sort of a polite, through the back kind of way, putting him down, mercied him, as they would say in Z Nation, right? In a peaceful kind of manner. And it was a pretty exciting scene. Yumiko had some pretty badass scenes when she kind of shot down the shed part that landed, or the overhang that came down on all of the walkers that were kind of close to the horses and everything. So that was kind of cool. And I was mostly like watching that scene through, looking for whispers, and then we kind of found out afterwards there really wasn't any in that group. So that's another group of walkers that have kind of been in and around. Also, funny part when Michonne cuts his violin in half, his Stradivarius in half, and he goes into the whole song and dance of how important it was, and it somehow tries to tie it into evolution. It's like I don't know. It's a bit, I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch to say that the reason why we why we survived was just because of music and art. I mean, I'm sure it probably played a part in it, but I think even if we didn't have that, we probably would have been fine either way, I think, personally. But, it was good stuff, and I liked all of that. And, mention of Carl from Sadiq, and we got to remember that, when Carl was killed off, he was kind of killed off to bring in Sadiq. So I like that Sadiq was the one who mentioned about Carl and about bringing the communities back together. And Michonne at first not wanting to do so, but then when she found out about the fact that, Rosita had been hurt. And, of course, she's one of the Alexandrians, right? So in the others, she decided, screw it, let's just go anyway. Even though there seems to be kind of that tension between everybody after what happened to Rick and maybe people blaming each other, Maggie having left, which makes a lot of sense because her actions are the things that led up to Rick's demise were, I would say, that what she did and what Daryl did as well, too, putting him in that spot was, indirectly responsible for what happened to Rick later on there. Even though they didn't stab him with the rebar, they put him in that spot, and then he got hurt accidentally, basically, and, disappeared, of course, after the explosion and everything. Also like that, it kind of threw me through a loop when we saw Tara kind of running shit at the Hilltop, because I thought for a second that she was in charge, right? So, and then we kind of found out that, no, okay, it is Jesus. He is the top guy, but he doesn't really want to be. He just kind of gets voted in, and then it looks like he gives the job to Tara, and then he leaves, right? So that's kind of fun. He gets voted to be the mayor of Hilltop, but then he just kind of leaves and goes out and does whatever he wants, and he leaves Tara, who's kind of, I want to say she's like his administrative assistant, right, at the Hilltop, with all of the kind of, I guess, daily run-of-the-mill kind of stuff to do. So pretty much Tara is running the Hilltop for the most part, and Jesus is just kind of there as I'd say a confidence figurehead that's just kind of there to make everyone feel safe and then leaves, right? And there's some question about scars, and we get to see a couple more scars here. Daryl seems to have some of the X scars as well, too, just the same as Michonne had. So eventually, I'm assuming they're going to explain to us what the X's are from, how they got the scars, want to know how I got these scars. And so we just have some understanding of where that came from or how that is. Carol referring to Henry as sort of an idealist. And then Daryl kind of saying okay, well, he's going to learn, right? He's going to have to learn. You can bring that's kind of funny, right? Idealism versus realism, and I like that too. And, it just made me think a lot about Rick, and of course how they were, he was a bit idealistic in everything and what he wanted to do, and it worked for a while, but of course things didn't work out ultimately. So good stuff. Question about Henry, interested in Enid maybe, so I wonder where Enid is. And Carol seems to think it's kind of cute, that kind of thing. So all in all, I mean, I enjoyed the episode. It was what it was. I wasn't expecting to see too much in this kind of build up to the mid-season finale. Still want to see more whispers, but they're not giving it to us right away. There was the part where they were kind of looking off and they couldn't see in the bushes. They thought someone might be watching them, and maybe the one woman in Magnus' group had noticed possibly maybe a whisper spying on them or something. So that was kind of cool, and they're probably going to find out soon about the Hilltop and everything. Probably follow them back and kind of figure out about the Hilltop and these joint communities and everything that's going to happen with the fair just around the corner. So I don't think we'll see the fair in time for this mid-season finale. I think it'll be in the back half of the season, just based on timing and everything. So, but it does look like it's going to be a pretty exciting mid-season finale, and it'll probably be a legitimate introduction for the Whispers. Is probably what we're looking for this mid-season finale. Like we're going maybe Alpha, maybe Beta, or just maybe getting to see the Whispers like the first kind of time full on. Could be what we'll see. So I'm very excited for that, man. That's going to be really great to see. And all in all, I'm going to give this episode an 8.3. I thought that Michael Cudlitz did a great job. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope he directs further episodes in the future for The Walking Dead, because I really did enjoy it a lot. And it's kind of cool too. I'm probably biased as well, though. I have to be honest there too, because I love Abraham. He was a great character. Michael Cudlitz did an amazing job as Abraham, and right up until the last line, right, and him telling Negan to Like it's not dinner. I think it was great. So it was good stuff. I really enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to see next week's episode with the Whispers. Finally, it looks like we're finally going to get to see them. They've been cooking them up for a while. A lot of us thought we would see them in the early kind of part of the season, like the first few episodes. That's what I thought. But really, we've heard them, and we've seen a whole bunch of walkers around. I wouldn't say that we've actually seen them with their full-on introduction yet. They've kind of been teasing them so far, and I just can't wait to actually see them through. So they're going to go out, probably go to rescue Eugene, and find out that they can't handle what's about to come after them. And Rosita's freaking out because she wants to go tell them, like, oh shit, they're all going to die. I mean, it's going to be a Rick situation. Never going to see him again. So that'll be it for my review for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed the episode, and I'm very excited to see episode 8. Can't wait to see the Whisperers. So if you like the video, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can also share. You can favorite. And if you're new, bottom left to subscribe. And thank all of you guys for subscribing. We just passed 230,000 subs after like a year. So that was cool. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to see some Whispers into Screams. So I'll be back in about half an hour to do our predictions for the mid-season finale. I can't wait. And leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think and how you felt about the episode. Thumb it up, all that good stuff. Subscribe, everything. I'll see you guys soon. As always, it's Trev. And I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.